So I'm a board certified psychiatrist and I've helped over 160 PMHNPs become confident in their clinical skills with diagnosis, treatment, and patient care. And so today we're going to be talking about cognitive supplements. So in this video, I'll share the 5 supplements that I use to enhance cognition in my patients to help boost their attention, their memory, their concentration, and overall mental sharpness. So let's begin. Also, honorable mention, so right here before we start, will be caffeine. So caffeine is very well known as a cognitive enhancer. I personally don't like it because it decreases sleep, but it is effective and it does work well. Basically, it diminishes the feeling of fatigue or tiredness by blocking the adenosine receptors. So decreases tiredness feeling. So that's why it can help. I prefer this rather than in a coffee form. I like it in a pill form with L-theanine in it. So that way you can modulate the dosage better, because with coffee, people will just drink too much, then they're going to have trouble sleeping because of its long half-life. But caffeine is very well known, so no secret there. So that's why it's an honorable mention. So number 5 on the list is creatine. So creatine we already know for in the muscle building community for increasing energy for muscular endurance. So basically, instead of being able to do 7 reps on an exercise, you can do 8 reps. It helps our muscles generate more ATP during a set. So that's why creatine is used in the muscle building community. However, there's a lot of evidence coming out for depression, for energy, and for cognition as well, because it can do the similar thing in the brain. So with creatine, the standard dosage is 5 grams. Just give 5 grams a scoop once a day. I take this every day in the morning in my water. So creatine, cheap, easy, very safe, very well studied, and your patients will definitely do well on it. So number 4 is lion's mane. So now with lion's mane, this is a good cognitive enhancer. It's more on the mushroom fungi side of things. And so with this, what this does is this increases nerve growth factor. And nerve growth factor helps our brain cells regenerate. And so by helping our brain cells regenerate, helping them grow, that's how it can stimulate cognition as well. I personally don't prescribe this that much because I prefer some of the other options on this list. But if you're just purely trying to target concentration, it is very good for that. The dosage is about 500 to 2,000 mgs per day. And then, so number 3 is L-tyrosine. L-tyrosine I like. So there's the main reason. So L-tyrosine is a precursor for dopamine. And so we use it a lot for stimulant production or to help augment stimulant activity, and as a kind of like a natural stimulant that you can give to people. It's not nearly as strong as a stimulant. However, this helps increase dopamine and norepinephrine by being a precursor to the synthesis of these two. So because it's a precursor, then that's what makes it really helpful for cognition. And so this I will prescribe frequently as well. So this one is 500 to 2,000. My mistake here, this one is to 3,000, not 2,000. The L-tyrosine is for 2,000. So typically I'll start 500 milligrams twice a day or once a day, and then bump it up to 1,000 milligrams BID. Number 2, omega-3s. Omega-3s are very good for the brain too, because they help, there's an EPA component, which decreases inflammation. And then there's a DHA component, which is structural for the brain cells. So it gives the brain cells the structural, the fatty acids that it needs. And so omega-3s have been shown in studies to help with cognition. It's one of the most well-studied supplements out there. So I 100% recommend omega-3s for brain activity. So omega-3s, this one, what I recommend to patients take is 3,000 to 4,000 milligrams per day. So big dose, probably more than you're used to, of EPA and DHA, not just the standard EPA and DHA, 3,000 to 4,000 milligrams a day, I recommend. So with all of these supplements, except for the L-tyrosine, which you can kind of notice benefits immediately, these ones are more taken on a gradual basis. So you notice benefits with these long term. It's not like you just take it and immediately you notice a benefit, but over the long term, you notice it. The problem I have with the ones that kind of just you notice a benefit immediately, like a stimulant, for example, is that it rises, but it falls very fast. So, for example, caffeine rises and falls very fast, so that will create dependence. And then when you have dependence, you have withdrawal. And so that's the biggest problem that caffeine has that some of these others don't. So if you're looking at a more long-term approach to boost cognition, cognitive abilities, then this is what I recommend. And then lastly, number one, this one might surprise you actually. Magnesium glycinate or threonate. Because the number one thing that's really sapping people from having good night or having excellent cognition is their sleep. Like most people's sleep habits are just horrendous. They don't fall asleep at the same time every day. They only get like 5 hours of sleep. Their sleep is not restful. And sleep is where the body regenerates. I always stress this with my patients. I believe that sleep is more important than diet and exercise combined. So sleeping well is the best thing that you can do for cognition. If I've noticed that if I sleep 8 to 9 hours a night, I don't need any caffeine. I have no cravings for any kind of junk food. And my mood is very calm and controlled, and I can stay focused for hours. But if I don't sleep well, then all the supplements in the world doesn't make up for it. And I'm just like I feel like I'm just trying to catch up to get to baseline. So magnesium is very good for relaxation. So anyone who has trouble sleeping, I recommend taking it at night, QHS. So if you prescribe this to patients to help them get a good night of sleep and they're able to, that will help their cognition immediately and so that's why this is my number one supplement for cognition. And of course, people are magnesium deficient, so it's only an additional thing that can help, but this definitely huge. And then here, I'll add another honorable mention as well, is vitamin D. So many people are deficient. So because they're deficient in vitamin D, supplementation can make a huge benefit because vitamin D helps out our hormonal activity. So we should be shooting for 50 units of whatever the blood unit is, 50 to 100. I know the limit is 30, the lower limit is 30, but I think that 50 is a better place to shoot for than 30. So usually 5,000 IUs daily does the trick, and it's something that I take personally too. Also for magnesium, start with 120 and you can go all the way up to 480, even higher if you want to as well. Just be mindful of diarrhea, but basically trying to optimize your sleep, that's the number one thing. So these are the top 5 supplements I recommend for cognition. And so I teach integrative psychiatry in my PMHNP coaching academy because a lot of patients nowadays, they don't want standard psychiatric treatment anymore. They want integrative treatment. They want supplements, holistic stuff. They want to use more lifestyle strategies. And so by integrating this stuff into your practice, you can become a better provider for your patients. You can get paid better. You can get more revenue for your private practice. You can get recognized more by your supervisor, and you can build more clinical confidence to be an outstanding provider. So that's all some stuff that I teach in my PMHNP community. So I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you in the next